What if the moment you thought ruined everything was actually the one that saved you? Marcus Williams had one chance left, one interview, one final shot to break free from the weight of his past and build the future he desperately needed. But fate had other plans. On his way to the interview, he stopped to help a woman stranded on the roadside, just trying to do the right thing. That choice cost him everything, or so it seemed. Because the woman he helped, she wasn't just a random stranger. She was the key to a future he never saw coming, one he never knew he needed. If you love interesting stories like this that expose the truth, please give this video a thumbs up and tell us in the comments section where in the world you are watching this video, and also do well to smash that subscribe button. Marcus didn't own an alarm clock, but he didn't need one. His body knew when to wake up. Every morning at 5 a.m., he rolled off the thin mattress on the floor of his friend's apartment in Detroit. It wasn't his place, but for 6 months, it was the only roof he had. The small kitchen was cold and quiet. He turned on the stove and placed an old pot over the flame. No coffee inside, just water for steam. He needed to press his only dress shirt, light blue with a torn collar and a missing button. But when you ironed it just right, it looked professional. Marcus never complained. Complaining didn't pay bills. It didn't get you jobs. And it sure didn't fix a resume with a 3-year gap that started when his father died and ended with an eviction notice. He pressed the shirt carefully, breathing in the warm steam. Then he worked on his shoes, black leather, cracked on the sides but still holding together. He rubbed them with a damp cloth and cooking oil until they caught a faint shine. Interview at 10. Don't be late, he whispered to himself in the cracked bathroom mirror. By 7:30, he was walking to the bus stop. His head was up, shoulders back. He'd read somewhere that how you carry yourself matters more than your resume. So he walked like someone with choices, not like someone who hadn't had a steady paycheck in 3 years. The Detroit morning was cool, the sky still dark. He walked the last few blocks instead of taking a second bus, partly to save money, mostly to clear his head. Each step was like practicing for the interview. What are your strengths? I'm reliable. I show up. I care. What's your biggest weakness? I never ask for help, even when I need it. Why do you want this job? Because I want to build something I can be proud of. Sterling Industries came into view just before 9:30. Glass panels, sharp corners, tall and impressive. It wasn't the biggest building in Detroit, but it still felt too fancy for someone like him. Still, Marcus stood straighter as he got closer. This was it, his chance. But just steps from the crosswalk, something caught his eye. A woman in expensive clothes was stuck, literally stuck. One of her high heels had slipped deep into a crack in the sidewalk near the corner of Madison and 5th Street. She was elegant, well-dressed, probably in her late 30s. Her hair was perfectly styled, her makeup flawless. She wore a silk blouse under a navy coat, the kind of woman who commanded attention without saying a word. She tried pulling her foot out, but the heel was wedged tight. Cars slowed down. Some honked. She looked frustrated, probably embarrassed. Marcus felt his phone buzz in his pocket. He had a choice to make, and he had to make it fast. He didn't hesitate. Need some help? He asked, walking over. The woman looked up, startled. I don't know what happened, she said, trying to laugh it off. But her voice had that edge of panic people get when they're trying not to show it. No worries, Marcus said, kneeling down. You're stuck right in the crack. Got it pretty deep. She held on to a nearby pole while he worked. Watch out for the cars, she said, more to herself than to him. People drive like maniacs around here. Marcus smiled as he twisted the heel side to side. Yeah, they don't slow down for anybody unless they hear sirens. The shoe wouldn't budge at first. The woman looked down at it and sighed. I just bought these. 5th pair this month. Marcus chuckled. I've had these shoes since high school. Can't imagine buying 5 pairs in a month. She looked down at him and softened a little. You in a hurry? Marcus wanted to say yes, that he had an interview, that this might be his only shot. But instead he said, sort of. But I'm not leaving you stuck here. With one more twist, the heel popped free. She stumbled slightly, and he caught her arm. There you go, he said, standing up. Thank you, she said, really smiling now. Seriously, I thought I was going to have to walk barefoot. That would have been one way to make an entrance. What's your name? She asked. Marcus. Marcus Williams. Well, Marcus Williams, thank you. I owe you one. She checked her watch and winced. I'm actually late myself. Then she was gone, disappearing into the crowd with quick, confident steps. Marcus finally looked at his own watch. 9:54. His chest tightened. The interview was at 10. The building was still across the street. He ran, dodging traffic and nearly dropping his resume folder. Marcus burst through the front doors of Sterling Industries, trying to hide his panic behind a forced smile. Hi, I'm here for an interview, he said, out of breath. With Sterling Industries. 10 a.m. Marcus Williams. The receptionist looked at him calmly, then at her computer screen. She clicked a few times, then gave him a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. I'm sorry, Mr. Williams. Ms. Sterling was only available until 10. She's already left for another meeting. Marcus blinked. Wait, can you check? I helped someone on the street. It was just a few minutes. She left about 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Marcus stood there, still holding his resume folder like it weighed 1,000 pounds. His breathing was shallow, but he forced it down. He didn't want to look angry or desperate. Thank you, he said with a forced smile. He walked out slowly, careful not to let the door slam behind him. The world outside felt louder now. The buses seemed faster, the sun hotter. He sat down on a bench, letting the folder rest on his knees. For a moment, he let himself think. Maybe I messed up. Maybe I should have kept walking. But then he thought of that woman, how embarrassed she looked, how nobody else even stopped. Even though his hands were shaking and his stomach was empty, he told himself, doing the right thing doesn't always come with a reward. But it's still the right thing. Marcus stayed on that bench for a long time, watching people stream in and out of the office building. He imagined the office he didn't get to see, the chair he didn't get to sit in, the words he didn't get to say. Finally, he stood up, adjusted his shirt, and walked to the corner store. He used his last $3 to buy a bottle of water and a sandwich that tasted like cardboard. That night, when his friend Jamal came home from his job at the restaurant, Marcus just said the interview went fine. He didn't want sympathy. He didn't want to hear, "It wasn't meant to be," or "Your time will come." He just wanted quiet. Marcus didn't sleep much that night. He kept thinking about the same moment. Why didn't I just say I had somewhere to be? The next morning, he checked his email. Nothing. He checked again after lunch. Still nothing. By the end of the second day, he stopped checking. He started looking for other jobs. Anything that didn't require college degrees or perfect records. Overnight stocking at the grocery store. Part-time janitor at a school. Washing cars. Anything that meant moving forward. It was Thursday afternoon when his phone rang. He didn't recognize the number, thought it might be a telemarketer. He almost didn't answer. Hello? A pause. Is this Mr. Marcus Williams? His voice got tighter. Speaking. This is Jennifer Parker, assistant to Ms. Catherine Sterling. Ms. Sterling would like to reschedule your interview for tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. sharp. She'll be conducting it herself. Marcus stood up so fast he knocked over his chair. Wait, did you say she wants to? That's correct. Is 9 a.m. okay with you? Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Wonderful. You'll check in at the front desk. Before he could ask why or how, the line went dead. Marcus just stood there, phone still pressed to his ear, mouth half open. Jamal, who'd heard the noise, looked up from his newspaper. You all right, man? Marcus looked at him and smiled for real. I think so, Jamal. I think something just changed. Marcus didn't sleep that night either, but for a different reason. His mind was electric. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that moment on Madison and Fifth Street. The woman's expression, the brief smile, the way she disappeared without even giving her name. By 6 a.m., he was dressed and ready. Shirt re-ironed, shoes shined with cooking oil. He'd even sewn the missing button back on. Jamal offered to drive him. No bus today, he said. You're walking into that place on time and breathing normal. At 8:50 a.m., Marcus was standing in the lobby. The same receptionist gave him a different look this time. Curious, not dismissive. You can go up to the 10th floor. Ms. Sterling's office is at the end of the hall. The elevator ride felt like forever. Marcus checked his breath, wiped his palms on his pants, then knocked once. Come in, came a voice, warm, direct. He stepped inside, and there she was, seated behind a glass desk, papers neatly stacked. She wore a gray blouse with simple gold jewelry. Same perfectly styled hair, same calm confidence. I was hoping it was you, she said, smiling. Didn't know your name until yesterday, but I've been thinking about you. Marcus tried to find his voice. You're Miss Sterling? Catherine, she said, standing to shake his hand. Call me Catherine. I had no idea, Marcus said. You didn't say anything. I was late to a board meeting, but after I got unstuck and got upstairs, I saw the security footage. You at the front desk, looking panicked. That kind of thing sticks with you. Marcus laughed nervously. Not exactly the first impression I wanted to make. You made the right one, she said. I've interviewed 100 people for the community program. Most of them are forgettable. They say the right things, wear the right clothes, but they don't do anything real. She motioned for him to sit. I want to hear about you. No resume talk. Tell me who you are. Marcus took a breath. Then he started talking. He told her about growing up on Detroit's East Side, about losing his father, dropping out of college to take care of his younger sister, about applying for jobs with no calls back, about sleeping on his friend's couch and showing up at the employment office every day like it was his job. I'm not trying to win points, he said. I just want to work. I want to contribute. Catherine listened without interrupting. When he finished, she leaned back slightly. You ever work with community programs? A little. I volunteered at the food bank. Helped kids with homework at the community center. Nothing fancy. Show me what you'd do if you had to organize a neighborhood cleanup. Marcus blinked. Right now. She slid a notepad across the table. You've got 10 minutes. His hands moved carefully, but his mind was clear. He sketched out a plan. How to contact residents, where to get supplies, how to make it about more than just picking up trash, how to build community. When he finished, Catherine studied his notes. You thought about the people first, the cleanup second. Most people do it the other way around. She stood up. That'll be all for today. Marcus stood too, unsure what that meant. No offer, no rejection, just uncertainty. But as he walked out, he felt something different. Like this wasn't just about a job anymore. The email came the next day, simple and direct. Ms. Sterling would like you to return Monday at 1 p.m. She has something she'd like to show you. Bring nothing. Monday couldn't come fast enough. When it did, Marcus wore the same outfit, pressed and clean. He arrived 10 minutes early. At exactly 1 p.m., Jennifer Parker led him to a small conference room. Inside, Catherine sat at the head of a table with 3 other people. 2 men and a woman, all dressed in expensive clothes that whispered money and power. Marcus's throat went dry. "Come in," Catherine said, gesturing to an empty chair. "This," Catherine said, "is not an interview." One of the men looked at Marcus, then at Catherine. "We asked Catherine to find someone who could think fast and show good judgment under pressure. She said she had someone in mind." Marcus blinked. "Me?" Catherine nodded. "That morning you helped me. You had no reason to stop. You were late. You had something important at stake. But you chose someone else's problem over your own." The woman leaned forward. "We run a community outreach program. It's small but growing. We work with schools, local businesses, mentorship programs. We've been talking about expanding, bringing in people who understand struggle." "So this is a job?" Marcus asked. "Not exactly," Catherine said. "It's a trial. 30 days. You'll work with our outreach coordinator. See how you handle the daily work. If it works out, we bring you on full-time." Marcus sat frozen. "This isn't about college degrees. It's about instinct," one of the men said. "And you've already shown that." Marcus exhaled slowly. "I'll do it. Whatever you need." The room finally relaxed into smiles. "Good," Catherine said, standing and extending her hand. "This is yours to lose, Marcus Williams." But Marcus didn't know yet that someone in that room had already decided to make it as hard as possible for him. The next 30 days changed everything. Marcus worked harder than he'd ever worked in his life. He organized food drives, mentored teenagers, helped families navigate job applications. He worked with people who had lost everything, just like he had. There were challenges. Some people questioned whether he belonged. Others tested his past, digging up old mistakes. But Catherine stood by him, and Marcus proved himself day after day. The job became permanent. Then came promotions. Within a year, Marcus was running his own programs, sitting in meetings with city leaders, making decisions that affected thousands of people. One day, a reporter asked him what changed everything. "A stuck heel," Marcus said. People laughed, but he meant it. After the interview, he walked back to that same corner on Madison and 5th Street. He looked at the crack in the sidewalk where it all started. So much had changed from that one moment. He thought about all the people who had helped him along the way. Jamal, Catherine, his old neighbors who barely had anything but shared what they could. And he thought about all the people who wouldn't stop to help unless there was something in it for them. As he stood there, 2 teenagers walked by. One dropped his backpack, and papers scattered everywhere. Without thinking, Marcus bent down and helped pick them up. "Thanks, man," the kid said. "No problem," Marcus replied, walking away. Because helping someone when nobody's watching, that's the part that really matters. Sometimes the biggest opportunities come disguised as the smallest acts of kindness. Sometimes missing one door opens another. And sometimes doing the right thing is the only thing that counts. The end.